Shalom. We give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and shalom to the elect that's pushing out this word throughout the four corners of the globe in sincerity and in truth for the edification of the house of Dawadah. This is why we do these lessons. Shalom to you. Hope you're in good spirits. It's your brother Shimon Mark from the DC camp. Let's get straight into the scriptures. We're going to go to the book of Romans. The 7th chapter. We're going to start at the first verse. It says, "Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law." This is the Apostle Paul speaking to the Israelites that are in Rome. And when he wrote this letter to the Israelites, he's speaking to them that know the law. No other nation knew the law. No other nation had the law. No other nation was bound by the law through a covenant. This is how we know that the saints that are in Rome, when you read verse 7 in the first chapter, we know that these saints are Israelites, because no one is bound by the law through covenant. Okay? The covenant that they made, that the Israelites made at Mount Sinai, they're under the law. Not only are they under the law, but they're bound by covenant to keep the law. Okay, so we're going to read on. It says, "How that the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth?" The law is never done away with. The other nations can't be bound by the law through covenant. This is why they discredit parts of the Bible. The parts that they can't adhere to, right, through a covenant which would give them a chance of salvation. The law keeps a people in line. The other nations are lawless nations. They are not, or they cannot be bound by the laws of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. It's just like it irks them to be right or to be spiritual. And they have convinced the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, to be just like them, unable to keep something that we promised our God that we was going to keep. They convinced us to be like them. This is why we don't see the law as needed, a spiritual aspect in our lives to keep our nation on track with the Heavenly Father. They convinced us of that. But it says here, just like the title says, believers united to Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one who died on the cross, who the world calls Jesus. He is the anointed one, Yahweh Shai. And we're bound by the laws of Yahweh, which is the Heavenly Father's name in the ancient Hebrew, and his Son who died on the cross, Yahweh Shai. We're bound to them through the law and the faith in Yahweh Shai. So it goes hand in hand. The other nations can't be bound to Yahweh Shai, nor Yahweh. This is why they don't walk in the law. That's why they say the law is done away with, and convinced our people the same. You see that? Let's jump down to verse 7. Verse 7 says, "What shall we say then? Is the law sin? The Most High forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, Thou shalt not covet." That lust is is a want. That want and need, if it's not righteous, it's a sin. But the law itself is not sin. It doesn't go against, the law can't go against itself. So it can't be sin. A law keeps our people once again in line with the Heavenly Father's requirements for salvation. It's part of salvation. It's part of keeping our nation together. It says here, verse 8, but sin taking occasion by the commandment wrought in me all matter of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead. Let's look up concupiscence. Let's look up that word. Can't just gloss over words without understanding the meaning or their meaning. In the Greek, it says,
Strong's G, 1939. Epithumia. Epithumia.
Epithumia is a desire or craving, long desire for what is forbidden. Lust, like I said, the lust is a desire, but the craving for things that are forbidden or unrighteous is the sin. Understanding what the law is and how it's applied teaches us what it is. Right? I'm going to say it again, but I'm going to say it different. The desires are not the sin, but unforbidden desires are sin. And the Lord taught us not to covet, not to want what your neighbor has, not to take what your neighbor has. These are unforbidden, right? So Paul says, let's read it again. But sin taken occasion by the commandment wrought in me all matter of concupiscence, which is forbidden. For without the law, sin was dead, because you had no knowledge of it. And this is how the other nations want us Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to live, not knowing. But we're bound by the law, so knowing the law is important. It says, for I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived, and I died. You may have not known about it, or being ignorant to a certain requirement that the law had put in his law, that we made a covenant with. Now these sins and the recognition or the recognizing of these sins are now in us. So we got to do something about it. We can't just go on like it never happened. No, it happened once. But once you understand and have the knowledge of what you're doing wrong and what is required of you, you stop doing it. This is what you call walking in the spirit of the law. Because the spirit of the Lord teaches us, right? Teaches the sinner who didn't know he was a sinner not to do these things, because the Lord don't want you to be in this condition. Because what leads to death is the preponderance of sinning or breaking of the law. So it's important to understand to not be in a dead state. Let's jump down to 14. 14 says, there's a conflict of these two natures. The two natures of knowing and not knowing. And when you didn't know. It says here, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, what Paul said, sold unto sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that I do. It's always a conflict with the flesh. But We could do all things in Yahweh Shai, the scriptures say, Philippians 4 and 14. If we could do all things in Yahweh Shai, we stop doing the things that we don't get rewarded for. And we start doing the things in the flesh, in the body, that we can be rewarded with. It's just that simple. How you want to be rewarded. Because you could be rewarded with death or you could be rewarded with life. This is the battle, right? This is the battle. And it's really being conscious. You got to be conscious of what you're doing, right? Let's look up this word in the Edamon online. Conscientious. Right? Conscientious. This is what we have to be. Conscientious. It says, of persons controlled by the conscience, right? Your mind, the way you're doing, governed by the known rules of right and wrong, of conduct, regulated by conscious sense of right, moral sense. So it says, see conscience. We have to control our conscience. It says the faculty of knowing what is right. Originally, especially to Christian ethics, later awareness that the acts for which one feels responsible do or do not conform to one's ideal of right. More generally, sense of fairness or justice, moral sense. And this is what the laws give you, because it's a spiritual thing. Paul just said that the law is spiritual. So if the law is spiritual, the spiritual walks in your head, meaning this is how it moves you. Your spirit moves you in a certain way, right? And supposed to control your hands, your feet, your eyes, your tongue, your legs, your feet, everything. The spiritual aspect of the law, right? Supposed to control you and understand what's right and what's wrong. This, people always talk about, we're progressive, we've advanced from of years in the past, and we've gotten better, and we had learned more technology. I hear what you're saying. But it's not being manifest in the flesh. I see people still doing what they want to do when they want to do it, and have no sense of repercussion from what they do. They're not progressive. Let's look up that word, progressive. They're not being progressive. They're not progressing. Progressive. They're not progressing. Seem like they're getting worse. People are getting worse. It says characterized by advancement, going forward or moving onward. In action, a character, right? A character moves forward. It has a certain role to play and things that you must do and don't do. It says here, from the past participle, stem of Latin, specifically of taxation from 1889, from the notion of using one's effort towards advancement or improvement, comes the meaning characterized by striving for change and innovation. And I don't see this. If we supposed to be so scientifically advanced, or we know things more today than we did of yesteryear, well, why can't they rebuild the pyramids? What happened? If we supposed to be better, why we can't do the things of the past? If you went to the moon in the past and we supposed to be more advanced today, why haven't you gone back? See, that's because people are really not progressive, right? People say they are more advancements, but it seems that the moral conduct we supposed to possess as humans on this earth seems like we're getting worse. So walking spiritually is not being advanced. Only by the elect, because only elect is supposed to live by these laws, live by faith, and walk in the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Let's get back to the scriptures. Romans 8. Romans, the 8th chapter, and the 18th verse says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him that hath subject the same in hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God." This is true progression. What we did in the past and how we lived was really caveman like. We walked away from what we needed spiritually and morally to keep ourselves to be on the progressive pace. But it never happened because of moving away from the goalposts, moving away from our goal, kept us away from scoring, from receiving, to be rewarded. This is why the Lord has to come back to change not only our bodies that lust for these things that's forbidden, to a state of progression where we lust for the things that are righteous. Not only us, Israel, but the whole world, as it says, verse 22. "For we know that the whole creation, everything created, groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now." The trees, the birds, the bees, everything is travailing. Everything is groaning because of this man and his counterparts, Esau, Edom, are in charge and just ruining things even further. Not only the minds of the people, but the actual earth itself. The water, the food, the air, the people. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves. If you're not groaning and feeling anguish about what's going on around you, you're not in the Spirit. Because the Spirit teaches how to be progressive and how to think spiritually and walk spiritually, and not just lust for the things of your flesh, but lust for the things that are pleasing to the Heavenly Father, to keep our nation and our people in line. And so they could receive rewards for their actions. We're receiving death and pain and disease and sufferings and family breakups, one against another. This is the reward we're receiving. It says, not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. This is the problem. The problem is these chains of darkness, these thoughts, feet, hands, brain activity, and the way we think, right, is even groaning. Because like Paul said, there's a war in our bodies and our minds and our spirits that ain't moving together. It's moving away from what is right and what is wrong. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doeth he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. That patience is suffering. We have to suffer these things in order to receive the reward for doing the things that are against how you feel and want and lust for. We have to suffer through that to receive the reward of righteousness. And that's the ultimate salvation. The ultimate salvation comes with a reward. This is why we do what we do. We need our bodies changed, our minds and our spirits changed to a righteous thinking. Matthew 5. And I'm going to start at 27. Matthew 25 and 27 says, you have heard that it was said to them of old, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, have committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that the whole body should be cast into hell. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. And that hell is torment. That hell is destruction. That hell is being rewarded with death. If you even just think first without considering first. Yeah, man, that looks good. And a woman could be anything, the woman could be literally a woman. The woman could be, someone else's goods, something that you're lusting after. Well, you have to consider first before even wanting it. Because once you put your mind in motion in this wicked state that we're in, it now becomes your object of your desire. This is what the Lord is saying. Hold back on those members. Rein them in. Think before you do. Matthew 22. Matthew 22. And start at verse 37. Says what? Yahushua said unto them, thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Hang all the law. Let's look at hang. These two commandments, hang. What is hang? We'll look up this word, hang, in the Greek.
Strong's G 2910, kremanumi. Kremanumi.
Means to hang, suspend, to be suspended, to hang, use of one's hanging on a cross. But let's look at B. Use of the law and the prophets is summed up or hanging on two precepts. All the things that the Lord had told us on how to walk, how to speak, how to think, hang on these two things. If we could perfect these two things and follow these two things, that what? The two laws. All the law, right, says what again? It says, Salak, it says, thou shalt love the Lord. Love is action. This is what you're supposed to do. Love the Lord. Loving is keeping of the commandments. That's first. This is how you love the Lord, by keeping the commandments with all your might, all your strength, all your physical attributes, everything that you can muster up as strength to love the Lord and to keep the commandments. That's first. Second is to do the same to your neighbor. Once you do that, once you do these two, everything else come with it. You won't commit adultery. You won't do before thinking. You won't steal. You won't covet what your neighbor has or want and lust for it. It reins you in. It keeps and holds you back from your desire and have more desire for your God and your brother. If I have to worry about someone stealing from me, I got to lock things up. And this is supposed to be my neighbor, which is my brother. There's no relaxing. There's no peace in that. If I have to not consider my God and what he thinks about what I'm doing, that leads to death. So these two is the whole law summed up. This is what it hangs on. And that's the meaning of hang. Whoever commits trespasses, right, breaks the law. It's just simple as that. So Israel, to walk spiritually, has to be renewed, has to be changed, be more progressive. Ezekiel 36, book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, and verse 22. And it says, Israel to be renewed for his name's sake. It says, therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh of thy power, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake. He's going to cleanse and change us for his name's sake. Now listen, you're his creation. You sit on a potter's wheel. You make Let's say a vase. Not for the vase's sake. You do and make this vase for your sake. This is why you created it. It's for your sake. So the creator is going to clean you up for his name. It's like, where's your honor? What Israel's supposed to do is show why the Lord made us. What was the purpose of making us? What was the purpose of him choosing us? It's for his name's sake, not ours. Reading on it says, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which you have profaned among the heathen, whither you went. You had no honor for me creating you and choosing you. I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith the Lord power, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. They're going to say, damn, now we know why he chose them. Because of the goodness that he has given and made us. It says, for I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out from all the countries and will bring you into your own land. And then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean from all your filthiness. And from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and will give you a heart of flesh. He's going to take that rock hardness or that hard-headedness out our spirit and now put a fleshly spirit. Now we can walk. Now we can talk. Everything that we say and do is going to be a spiritual aspect of him, showing who he is and what he has done for us. It's not for our sake. It's for his name's sake. Don't muddy up his name. I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I will be your God. I will also save you from all your uncleanliness, and I will call you for the corn, and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you. And I will multiply the fruit of thy trees and increase of thy fields, that you shall receive no more reproach or famine or of famine among the heathen. Then shall you remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your iniquities and for your abominations. Not for your sakes do I this, saith Yahweh power. Be it known unto you. Be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Israel, because he gave us a way to walk. He gave us a way to talk. He gave us a way to deal with each other. But we want to do it our way. And we don't even have a mind to create these things of ourselves. All of these things comes from the Creator. Thus saith Yahweh power, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will cause you to dwell in the cities, and the wastes shall be builded, and the desolate land shall be tiled or tilled, Salak, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by. And yeah, that's where Israel used to live. Look, and nothing but ruins. And they gloat over that. The other nations gloat. Now they're in power because we have no strongholds. It says here, and they shall say, this land was desolate, is become like the Garden of Eden. And the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahweh, buildeth the ruined places and plant that was desolate. I, Yahweh, have spoken it and will do it. The water, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, for that. Thus saith Yahweh power, I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel to do it for them. I will increase them with men like a flock, as the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem, city of peace, in her solemn feast. So shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. This is for his name. The men that you see, the men of renown, the governing body, the 144,000, it's going to be known and it's going to be seen by the rest of the nations. And they're going to know what? Yahweh is the Lord. And we walk in the spirit of the Lord. And he has done this for Israel. We give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Shalom.